Hey guys, today we are going to take some good old-fashioned notes in our interactive notebook. So let's get those handy. We're going to take notes today on the cell cycle. We talked about this earlier. I started writing the wrong word. We talked about this earlier, but we're going to take some nice little one-pagers because we've got a really great mnemonic device that we can use to help us remember this cycle. To get us started on our notes, we're going to do a 3-column fold. So to do that, you grab the outside of your new notebook sheet, fold it to the middle, there and there, and fold it once more over until you get to the hole punches or that red margin line, whichever, but you get nice columns. We're going to use these. I'm actually going to use all columns, but we'll be doing some stuff here and in here. So I'm not going to write all the way down. I'm not going to draw my column lines because we are going to be writing some bullet points here at the bottom. So I'll draw everything in later. But what I am going to do is write out our mnemonic, the letters, the mnemonic, the stages of the cell cycle, and a very simple picture of each stage. So we're going to start with our letters. Our mnemonic is I played marbles at Taco Cabana. So I stands for interphase. And there are 3 stages of interphase that we need to remember: G1, S, and G2. The S stage is where DNA is synthesized or replicated. So it's really important for us to remember that. I'm going to draw a really basic picture of a cell in interphase. Now remember that a cell in interphase doesn't have a whole lot going on. It's just growing. And so I drew a nucleus there with chromatin. Remember, those are our unwound chromosomes. After I is P. I played. And this stands for prophase, which we'll remember is when we prepare for nuclear division. In this phase, our nucleus starts to disappear, the nuclear envelope, and we get nicely looking chromosomes in our nucleus, and our centrioles form. Okay, so the nuclear envelope is dissolving, the chromatin that was in interphase becomes chromosomes, and our centrioles begin to shoot out their spindle fiber lassos. I played marbles, M, and that stands for metaphase. We can remember metaphase with middle. And that's because all these chromosomes that just formed in prophase are going to line up in the middle of the cell, and our centrioles will shoot out their little spindle fiber lassos to grab those chromosomes at the centromere. I played marbles at, and this is anaphase. We can remember anaphase with the word apart. Because in this stage, now our cell's going to start getting a little bigger here. In this stage, the centrioles are pulling these chromosomes apart. Okay. I played marbles at Taco. And this is telophase. And in telophase, we have 2 new nuclei forming. And so our cell is starting to pull apart a little bit. Our nuclei start to reform. Our chromosomes unwind. And our centrioles pull back on their spindle fiber lassos. I played marbles at Taco Cabana. C. And this is cytoplasm. And it's not cytoplasm, it's cytokinesis. Y'all, mistakes happen, right? We're just gonna go here. Cytokinesis. And we're gonna remember that with cytoplasm, because this is when the cytoplasm breaks into two new daughter cells. Okay? Now, we have a few important pieces of information that we need to associate with the cell cycle. First is that interphase is the longest stage of the cell cycle. This is where the cell is doing most of its growing. It's going through, it's maintaining homeostasis, right? We also need to remember that this happens in somatic cells or body cells, and that each of those cells have a total of 46 chromosomes, which are all of the instructions we need to build more cells. We need to remember that apoptosis is programmed cell death. Remember, sometimes it's necessary for us to get rid of cells that our body doesn't need. And of course, cancer is unregulated or uncontrolled cell growth. So cells that go through this cycle continuously, breezing through all of their checkpoints, will result in cancer cells. Those become tumors. Tumors are either benign, which means that they are non-cancerous, or malignant, which means they are. So here we've got a nice one-pager for our cell cycle notes. Hopefully you can keep this in your interactive notebook, use it on upcoming labs and tests.